So I think that Henry Cavill is actually still Superman at the DCEU in that universe, and I want to explain why. I acknowledge right off the bat that this could just be denial speaking. This could just be me not wanting to accept that maybe he really is gone from the Superman role. Henry Cavill, ever since I first saw Man of Steel in the theaters, has always been my favorite Superman. When I think of Superman, I think Henry Cavill Superman. I think he's been amazing in every single movie that he's been in as Superman. I think he showed a lot of potential for the future with Justice League, although he wasn't in it too much. I think a lot of people would agree with that might not have liked his portrayal of Superman in Man of Steel or BVS, because it wasn't necessarily what we know from the comics, although that was kind of the arc. I'm going to make a full video explaining that. But anyway, in Justice League, he's more of what we know from the comics and stuff like that. So I would assume that if you didn't like Henry Cavill in Man of Steel or BVS, you probably thought there was some good potential there in Justice League for the future. And as you guys know, the reason why I'm making this video is because yesterday the Hollywood Reporter reported that Henry Cavill is leaving the role of Superman in the DCEU. And the Hollywood Reporter is a very, very credible source. So there's that. So when I first saw that, I got really angry. I was like, oh no, he's gone as the real Superman. Then his agent comes out on Twitter and says basically that no, just stay calm. The cape is still in his closet, I think is what she said. And just stay calm. Cape's still in his closet. Expect a statement from Warner Brothers later today. So then Warner Brothers came out and they put out their statement basically saying, we have a lot of respect for Henry Cavill. We don't have any plans for future Superman movies right now, but our respect and our relationship with Henry Cavill hasn't changed. So the statement from his agent kind of didn't really reassure me, but he isn't tremendously active on his Instagram. So for him to post a video and post a picture, really anything, there's got to be some kind of significance, some kind of importance to this. And he posted this very, very, very late in the day, after all the articles happened, after fans had a lot of time to respond and make their opinions known about this. I actually had a video recorded about it, but I just decided not to upload it, just for controversy's sake. But he waited to the very last second, and the title, or not the title, but the caption of this video says, "Today was exciting, #Superman." So in the video, he doesn't directly say that he is Superman. He also doesn't directly say that he isn't Superman. What I think is going on is I think this was a PR stunt by Henry Cavill, but more so by his agencies, the people who represent him. What I think is that they've been going through some tough times with contract negotiations. When articles like the article that was posted yesterday, the Hollywood Reporter article saying that Henry Cavill is out as Superman, those articles usually start being written months before they actually come out, because they want to do as much research as possible to make sure that it is a credible article so they don't look foolish if it ends up being wrong. So the Hollywood Reporter probably heard months ago, probably back in like April, May, that Henry Cavill was leaving the role of Superman, or at least was in talks to. And we've known for a while now that Henry Cavill has had some negotiation contract difficulties with Warner Brothers for the future movies. And we know that Henry Cavill was just signed on to The Witcher to play the main character in that Witcher TV show for Netflix. Now, when he was casted as that, a lot of people said, well, nope, that means he's done as Superman because he has a TV show going, so he can't do TV show and movie at the same time. That means he's done Superman. Well, it's an 8-episode first season. So right there, it's not as long as your typical TV show that runs anywhere between maybe 10 to 20 episodes. So already there isn't as much time needed for that. And 2, I want to point out, I know the 2 totally different actors, but I want to point out that Dwayne Johnson is in a TV show called Ballers, I believe, but he also puts out like 2 to 3 movies every year. So if he can do that, why can't Henry Cavill do a TV show that has only 8 episodes, but still do movies and be in movies? And also, keep in mind, Warner Brothers directly said and came out and said we don't have any major plans for Superman movies in the future. So it's not like we would have had Man of Steel 2 in 2020, but Henry Cavill left. No, if anything, it would be Superman would make cameos in other movies like Shazam. The Hollywood Reporter actually directly said that there was some scheduling conflicts with Mission Impossible Fallout with the cameo and stuff like that, which I'll get to in a second. I have some thoughts about that. Maybe a cameo in Shazam, a cameo in the Supergirl movie that they want to make. So it's not like we would be missing out on anything Superman related, which also gives them more leeway to say he really did leave to bring him back and to sign him back. But let's get to the PR stunt, right? So, we know that he was cast as the main character in The Witcher, and in an interview, I'm pretty sure either the director or the casting director of that series, I can't remember 100%, said that he was the first person that they saw back in, I want to say May, for The Witcher, and I'm pretty sure in June-ish, I can't remember exactly when Fallout came out, but when Mission Impossible Fallout came out, he was doing an interview. He was asked a question. He was asked 2 questions. In a separate interview, he was asked about Witcher. Would you like to play the main character in Witcher? And he was like, yeah, sure, that would be so cool. He already knew he had the part then. And then he was asked about Superman in a different interview on one of the red carpets for Mission Impossible Fallout. And he was asked about Superman. And he was saying, yeah, no, I have a lot of plans for Superman. There's a lot of story that could be told there that I want to tell for Superman. I want to make a direct sequel to Man of Steel. I want all this to happen. I'm pretty sure at that time, he knew he was Geralt. I think that's how you pronounce it, the main character in the Witcher series. So he knew that he was going to be playing the Witcher series, but he still said all this stuff about Superman. And it's not like he's faking, you know? It's not like he's saying, oh, yeah, Superman, sure, I want to play Superman, yeah, whatever. I have to say it because, you know, if not, then Warner Bros. Is going to be in doo-doo right now because they're going to get bad reception. No, you could tell. If I can find the interview, I'll put it in. You could tell that he was genuine about that. He was like, yeah, no, I really want to make a Man of Steel sequel. I'm very passionate about Superman. I really want to tell more stories with Superman and his character. I want to do that. That was in the time that I'm assuming and I'm guessing just based off of how these articles go, around that time was probably the time that the Hollywood Reporter started looking into this, that Henry Cavill was leaving. So I'm thinking it's just a big PR stunt to show Warner Brothers, hey, no, we got supporters. We have a lot of people that like Henry Cavill. I want to say it's about 50-50. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I like Henry Cavill a lot. So the Man of Steel critic tomato meter on Rotten Tomatoes is 55%, and the audience score is 75%. Now, I don't like to go off of Rotten Tomatoes too much, for the audience score at least, because people can make multiple accounts of Rotten Tomatoes to either bring the score up or down. But since Man of Steel was the first movie in the DCEU, I think it's pretty fair to go off of that, saying that about half the audience, maybe a little bit more, like Henry Cavill Superman, while, you know, a good amount, but maybe not the majority, don't like Superman, or don't like Henry Cavill Superman. So he has a lot of supporters, and I think this was his, or at least his agencies, the people who represent him, their way of saying, look, Warner Brothers, you cannot hire Henry Cavill. You can recast, or you can do Supergirl. But look at how many people you are going to make angry if you don't use Henry Cavill as Superman. Look at all the supporters he has. And most of those supporters, like me, are the people that have defended you, people who have been with you, who have stayed with you, who are hopeful for the future. And these are the people who are your most loyal supporters that you cannot afford to lose right now. And that's true. They can't afford to lose people like me, who have defended Warner Brothers at every turn, except for Suicide Squad, but who have defended them at every turn, who has stuck with them, who has never given up hope on them, who is a huge fan of Henry Cavill Superman. They can't afford to lose people like us. And I think that's just a negotiation strategy. Like I said, you can tell that Henry Cavill is very, very passionate about playing Superman. He really wants to play Superman. And it's probably has something to do with money. That's all it is. Henry Cavill is starting to be a larger and larger, a bigger and bigger actor and a celebrity. You know, he started with Man of Steel. He was in Man from U.N.C.L.E. He was the runner-up to play James Bond to Daniel Craig. I think he might become the next James Bond. That's my prediction. So he was runner-up there to play James Bond, and now he's in Mission Impossible Fallout, which I didn't see it, but for what I'm hearing, he did amazing in that. So I'm guessing it comes down to money. Now, if he's asking for, I don't know, $20 million, I don't know how big are salaries for actors, so $20 million couldn't be a lot, but I would assume it's a lot. So if he's asking for like $20 million a movie, then I would understand Warner Brothers saying, all right, you know, that's too much. Maybe let's lower it a little bit. We can't hire you for that amount of money. We'll just hire somebody else and recast. But if he's asking for a reasonable amount for his side as an actor, and they don't want to give it to him, I think this shows that they should, because they have a huge support. At least Henry Cavill has a huge supporting fan base, and if he doesn't stand as Superman, a lot of those people will leave. I was reading a lot of comments in YouTubers' videos on posts about this. People saying, all right, this is it with me, with DC. Henry Cavill was the one thing keeping me. I've given up on DC. I'm leaving DC. I'm not seeing Aquaman. I'm not going to see another DC movie. I'm done with DC because they got rid of Henry Cavill. And Warner Brothers will most likely see that, and they'll be like, oh wait. No, we can't let him go. We need him. He has to be our Superman. He has to be. Whether or not they want to make a Man of Steel 2, whether or not they want to focus more on Supergirl and Superman, doesn't really serve a purpose here. Because you can have Henry Cavill appear in Supergirl to, you know, I don't know, tutor her, I guess, in being a Caped Crusader, but you gotta keep him in there. Make Man of Steel 2 2025. Alright, just keep him as Superman. Maybe don't use him as often because he'll be busy, but just keep him as Superman because you see how big of a fan base he has. And I think that was the whole plan. I think there's a reason why Henry Cavill waited until the nighttime, until the end of the day to put up that video. And the way I took it, you know, that could be interpreted many ways. But the way I took it was that, look, you guys did good. I'm here for you. Thank you to everybody who's supporting me. And thank you to everybody who wants me to stay a Superman. I want to stay a Superman. I know you want me to, so thank you to those people. This got me excited. As he said in the caption, to say it was exciting. #Superman. So he's obviously referring to Superman there, and he's excited. You know, he's like, guys, this helped me out. Hopefully, because of you, I will stay as Superman. And I will be able to play Superman in future movies for you. And that's all I think, that's what it comes down to. I'm pretty sure just a PR stunt. I could be wrong. Maybe he is gone to Superman. I would be completely sad if that's true. And if he is. But I think, I'm not saying the Hollywood Reporter got wrong information. Maybe that is what they heard 4 months ago. Maybe 4 months ago he was done as Superman. But maybe now times have changed. Who knows? You know, like maybe they're right. Maybe Warner Brothers said that because they don't want any kind of negative energy, any negative backlash for Aquaman. And that makes sense. You know, they're a business. They got to do that. But it seems like, at least to me, the way I'm taking it, and I could be in denial here, but the way I take it, the way I see it, is Henry Cavill was just telling us that he's here for the fans like me. And our response helps him be Superman in the future. I think that's all it comes down to, really.